All right. I'm going to also ask you guys to read as well. So if I call your name, just read the paragraph, okay? I'll start. Tracys distraught parents had come for counseling because their 16-year-old daughter had run away from home many times. Her parents said Tracey herself had a problem and needed help. What's wrong with their parents? Or what was wrong with their daughter? Why did she take into her head to act like this? What could be done to change this behavior? Their focus, understandably, was her on her problems as an individual. So basically, we have a kid, teenager running away from house. Parents come for counseling and say, okay, how do we fix this problem? All right, next, Yunji, if you could read this for us. Okay. Do you guys see the shift that happened? So initially, the parents came in because we said, okay, Tracey keeps running away from the house. She obviously has some kind of problem. Maybe it's a boy. Maybe she has drug problems. Maybe emotional problem. Whatever. But after talking to them, it realized why was she running away? She was running away because she felt like that was the only way the parents would actually stay together because they were having some family problem. Okay, so the last sentence is very important. So it went from they just thought it was an individual problem, Tracey problem, but they realized, oh, it's actually a family problem. Specifically, it's a problem between mom and dad. Okay, that's the root of the issue that Tracey was having. Okay, so of course this is unique to Tracey. We're not trying to say that every individual problem is a family problem or a family problem. We're not saying that, obviously. All right, continuing on. Danielle. Yeah. So I don't need to really convince you guys because all of you guys are in this study because you believe that family and me as an individual, there's connection, right? But again, it's really easy to separate the two. It's easy again, some philosophy of thought to just say, no, you know what? Past is the past. I'm just going to forget it and I'm just going to move on. This kind of stuff. Okay. But we have to understand that we are affected, all of us, every single one of us, whether we had a healthy family, unhealthy family, whether we think we're only affected 10% or 80%, no matter where you are, what you think, we are affected by our family. Okay, and that's what we are really trying to talk about. Okay, we might have individual problems because we have family problems or we had family problems. Okay, so not every problem is a family problem, but definitely a lot of it stems from or could be stemmed from family. Okay. All right. By the way, if you guys do have any questions or clarification, you could stop me. All right. And also, if you don't want to read, just say pass. Okay. Ashley, if you could read the next one. Okay. So we have, this is the Christian background, right? That every single one of us, we're broken and we're sinners and we're imperfect. So that's pretty obvious then that every single one of us have broken parents. Or if you are a parent, like I'm a parent, that I am a broken parent, right? And so this idea that all of our families, even though some are looks better than the other on the outside, all of us, all of our family have some kind of dysfunction. Okay, let's go to the next part. Stephen. Okay, so again, this is not, I don't think anybody wants to admit this outright, or do we like seeing this, but this is actually the reality. All right, continuing on. Raisha? Can you read for us? No, no problem. Not a problem. So we're on the last paragraph, our goal. Yeah. All right. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for reading. All right. So did you guys get that? So it's not about, okay, how can my family be perfect? Or if some of you guys are married or going to get married, it's not about, oh, how can I have the perfect family? Because my family wasn't perfect, but now I'm going to try to be perfect. Okay? But it's more about all of us are dysfunctional in some ways. All of us are bringing in sin. All of us are broken in certain ways. So how can we be healthy? Okay, that's really the key word. Okay, how can we become healthy? That's the goal. All right. All right. Let's continue on. I think that, by the way, that distinction is really important because I think it's really a lot of pressure. Even for me, like to think like I have to be a perfect dad. Right now, I just had a just had a baby, and it's really easy to think, okay, how can I be the perfect dad? Like I cannot make a mistake, this kind of thing. But instead, it's like, how can I just become a better or healthier person, right? So that my family could be healthier. All right, let's continue on. Lone, if you could read this. Mm. Okay, so maybe some of you guys have asked this question before. Victoria, if you could read the next paragraph for us. Okay, Victoria's not there. Connie, if you could read this for us. Okay, so maybe some of you guys could resonate with this. Okay, maybe it was college, or maybe it was getting married, or moving away because of your job. Okay, so it's this idea that it's like, okay, I'm done with my parents. I don't want to deal with them. Okay, I'm gonna be different. I'm gonna start a new life. But once you get there, kind of, I think good example was the example Yunji gave, where it's like, oh, I realize I'm acting just like my parents in a certain way. Okay. Continuing on, Yunji. Hmm. Yeah. Okay. So again, I don't need to convince you guys that our family history or our family doesn't matter because all of you guys are here. But again, it's very important to understand, okay, that we are affected by our family. Okay. Obviously, I'm not saying we're trapped by it. Okay. We can actually heal, but we have to understand that we can't just walk away. We can't just leave it in the past. It's something that we have to deal with. Okay, and all of us are, whether for good or for bad, and probably both, bit of both, we're affected by our past and our family. Okay. All right, Danielle. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm. Okay. Very good. Very good. Okay, so we're going to be talking about that quite a bit. Okay. Why is it that we have such strong attachments towards our family? And so we have to understand, well, if we understand we as a baby, when we were all babies, and us growing up, how it affected us, our development, then we're going to see why we have such strong attachments with our family. All right, so we're going to look at child development for a little bit. All right. Unlike most species in the animal kingdom, which shove their offspring out of the nest within a matter of weeks or months, human beings are created so that they are dependent on their parents for their survival for many, many years. And unfortunately, I am going through that right now. Our neediness continues when we become adults, even though it usually takes different forms. This is a constant reminder of our original dependence on our family. So we never grow out of a need for a family, right? That's very interesting. I mean, we could leave our parents, but whether that takes place as wife and husband, uh, even if you don't see that as, even if you don't want to get married, perhaps you strive for some kind of community where you could feel like you're at home. And so, from the moment we're born to the minute we die, we are always in this dependence on family, on people, basically. All right, let's continue on. Ashley, if you could read the first part. Okay. Number two. Okay, do you guys see that? So there's two parts. Okay, the first part is to establish, make sure that we feel secure, that we feel like the world is safe and that I always have somewhere to go back to. Okay, so when a baby is able to do that, then they're actually able to detach because they have like a foundation, right? Does that make sense? And so this is where development problems can happen, where if you don't feel safe at times, then you're not going to separate. Okay, that's a possibility. Okay, maybe some of you guys have experienced that, or you've seen people who are either very clingy or very independent. Okay, we're going to be talking about that a little bit more. Okay, so to summarize, Lone, if you could read this next part. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, does that make sense? Again, if you feel safe, then you can start exploring a little bit and a little bit. And if you actually see little kids, they do this. If you actually see them in playground, you see that very often. Okay, they get excited and they go to the playground and they play with their kids or other kids, or but what they do is they always come back to their parent and like get a hug or just to say hi, and then they go back. Why? Again, it's this idea of I need a safe place to be, then I can explore. So they explore, and then when they feel insecure or they feel a little like scared, they could come back. Oh, there's my mom or my dad who still cares about me. Now I have the emotional resource to go out. Okay, that's the idea. Okay, let's go to the next part. Insecure attachments. Victoria, if you could, if you're there. Okay. Chuyun, if you could. Oh, Victoria is there. Okay, Victoria, if you could read that part. Hmm. Okay, very good, very good. So again, this is how child develop. Okay, number one is they have to form this sense of unconditional love or security. And once they could do that, then they could start exploring. But again, if this doesn't happen, if there's some not enough balance, okay, if they go too far and they can't find security, whatever, or they don't find security from the beginning, then we see some bad insecure attachments that happen. Okay, there's obviously more than two, but we're going to talk about specifically two big ones. Okay, Jian, if you could read the first one for us. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Hmm. 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 Okay, so do you guys see what's happening? So step one didn't happen very well. They never felt safe. Okay, so step one, they never felt secure because maybe again their parents were emotionally maybe very unhealthy, or maybe they're very busy, or maybe they were not they were just not there. Okay, so what that happens is the kid goes, okay, no one's gonna take care of me. Okay, no one's gonna be there for me. So what do I gotta do? I gotta figure out stuff for myself. Like no, like this world is an unsafe place, so I'm gonna take care of myself. Okay. So again, this is what happens in their childhood. Okay, and then obviously that goes into our marriages, our relationships. So at the same time, they want to get closer to people, but again, they feel like no, I just have to deal with it on my own. For Enneagram, if some of you guys know Enneagram, some of the outcomes could be Enneagram number 1, Enneagram number 3, 5, and 8. Okay, these are some of the possibilities. All right. Let's go to number 2 then. Yunji, if you could read this one for us. Hmm. 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 Yeah. Okay. So again, very similar situation. They didn't feel secure. Okay. So this is opposite, right? The first style, what did they do? The first style, the avoidance style, they just said, okay, no one's gonna take care of me. I gotta take care of myself. But the second style, they said, okay, no one's gonna take care of me. Okay, I gotta find somebody. Okay, so all they do is just try to find somebody. They're always in a search. I have to be in a relationship. I have to have a boyfriend, or I have to have a girlfriend. Okay, or I have to have a best friend. I need somebody that so that they could give me that emotional support. Okay, again, Enneagram. I mean, this is like one of like number 6 Enneagram for sure. But 2s, 4s, 7s can also resonate with some of this quite a bit. Okay, this idea of, again, it's like this idea of push and pull thing too. There is that as well. All right. So I need them, but at the same time, if they really find out about me, then I'm gonna get abandoned anyway. So I'm gonna push them a little bit, and then it's that push and pull, this kind of thing. Okay. So again, we can see how our parents were, or how we grew up. Okay, it definitely affected some of us. Okay. All right. So this is just the beginning intro section of our study. But one thing I just wanted to leave away with, I think all of us can maybe more than others, could resonate with this. But this really, the main thing here is that we can start. I think Ashley talked about boundaries, and that's going to be very, very important. But again, we can only have safe boundary. We can only have good communication, and we can only be open and authentic when we actually feel secure within our relationships. And so this is not just with family, but every relationship, right? Where if you don't feel safe, obviously you're not going to open up. You're not going to communicate very well. Okay? But if you feel secure, that's when you are able to get healthier. Okay, so we're going to talk about more about that. But this is really good news for us because that's what the gospel, the Bible, that's what Jesus really provides, is that ultimate security. Maybe our family, our parents, our dad or mom or siblings or boyfriend or whatever, right? Maybe they have failed us some ways, but we know that Jesus is the ultimate security. Okay? And so from there we can really, if we can become healthier and we can get closer to Jesus, and we can have that reassurance, right? That he's always going to love us despite our flaws and brokenness, then we can start to really get healthy. Okay? All right. So today we'll end it there. We'll go into our discussion questions. And if you guys have any questions with me as well, we'll do that. Okay, let's go to our review. Hold on really quick.